Hi everyone. So for today, for the prayer or the meditation, I thought I would read the gospel for today. I was very, very busy yesterday, so I didn't go to the mass. I didn't watch the mass online, but I did do prayers. And I always say the rosary every day in October. I say it anyway, but in October I try not to miss a day. If I do miss it on other months during the year, I do some other prayer. But in October I try to keep it because it is something that the church is asking us to do. And it's not just me, it's for everybody. So you can go on YouTube if you don't know how to say the rosary, and you can find the prayers there. And in the end, I will win. I will win because I'm not going to stop telling people about my journey, what's happening to me. I will win, and Christians will win. Just because we're going through a hard time right now and we're not getting the support, we're not getting the days off, we're not getting the accommodation, doesn't mean that we will never get it. We will win. All the things that they brought in here in Canada, they never used to be there before. Before, you used to go into like the hospitals, and you knew that these are Christian hospitals. They set up by Christians, and those values were imbued in the hospital. They were part of it. And later on, they started changing. They said, oh no, this is for everyone. We have to be fair to everyone. So they introduced prayer rooms. I can tell you now that there is no moderate Muslim or Hindu that will not go and pray in a chapel. Scotiabank introduced all these Muslim prayer rooms. They put down carpets. Even in Teleperformance, they have a Muslim prayer room. They say it's for everyone, but you don't see crucifixes there. You see the Muslim prayer mats, you see all that. So that's how the world has changed. And when people spoke up, when people said they didn't want it, they didn't listen. Scotiabank drove it. Scotiabank started it, bringing in the Muslim prayer rooms and all that. And even if you go to airports today, if you go to Heathrow and all the other airports, you see that they have prayer rooms. They don't call them chapels anymore. There is no moderate Muslim or Hindu that will not go and pray in a chapel, a Christian chapel. And there is no moderate Hindu or Muslim that will support our churches being burnt down and our rights being taken away. Even at Teleperformance, people used to cry at how I was getting treated. It didn't matter their religion, it didn't matter their gender, it didn't matter who they were. When I used to tell my supervisors, they haven't approved for me to take Good Friday off or Christmas, or they won't give me my extra break. People sit and cry. That's why people don't want me to go back to work unless I get into a very good workplace and a very good place where I'll be treated with dignity and respect. Because I am going to win. I'm not winning yet, and I haven't told enough people yet. I'm going to take my message to millions. This is a small percentage of who I want to reach. I want to be bigger than Saint Therese. Saint Therese is the one that she said, you do small things with great love. I'm going to take a message to all the four corners of the earth like she wanted. I haven't won because I lost my health. I shouldn't have lost my health. When I came to Canada, I was quite shocked that Father Larry used to have these badges in the church. It's a little brooch saying, you can wish me a Merry Christmas. And it was so jarring for me to come here from England. I couldn't believe how backwards it was. I said to him, why do you have those badges? And he said, well, you over here you have to be careful because not everyone celebrates Christmas. I said, but why not? Everybody should celebrate Christmas. They can keep their own, but why is it that we are always the ones getting attacked? We are always the ones having to fight to put up a Christmas tree or Christmas lights or a nativity set. Everywhere else in the world, you have huge big Christmas trees and nativity sets and all that. So he said, well, it's different here. So it was very hard for me. There was a lot I had to learn, I had to adjust to, and it was very depressing, to be honest with you, because in England, everything closes for Christmas. Everybody gets that Christmas break off. Everybody gets that Good Friday off. Even if you are working like in a bakery or something, they always give you time. You can go to Mass, you can come back. It's always there, and Christ is at the heart of what we do. Even in New York, if you go to New York, they have huge nativity sets. Then afterwards, Father started putting a nativity set outside. We have a nativity set that's outside the church. It's covered. It's like in a little box. But it took so many years. I came here in 2002. It took so many years. People don't like the way I'm being treated. People sit and they cry for me. They cry at how the employers treat me. All my colleagues, my managers, they sit and they cry. And they're like, why are they doing this to you? Why are they treating you like this? I said, oh, I don't know. I even told them at HSBC, I said, when I go home, I want to go and stay there when I went before my holiday. I told them, because I'm tired of this. And then I went with the intention of going back. But then when I went to Wits, and I talked to Peter Maher, and I talked to some of the people there, they said to me, it's not only you. They said all our graduates are being treated very badly, whether they go to New Zealand or Australia or anywhere. They don't get treated with the dignity and with the respect that they should. And it's very sad, because you come here and you think that you're going to be treated well, you think you're going to have good paid jobs. They might be hard jobs, but you think that you're going to earn at least $25 an hour so that you can save, so that you can put down a down payment for your home. And that one job loss leads to devastation. Then they'll say, oh no, let's build shelters, let's put them in shelters. We don't want that. We don't want to go and live in shelters and live in tents and live in hotels and have you provide our food. We want to stay in our own homes, like I'm staying in my own home, and pay our rent and be responsible citizens and buy our properties and take care of our families. We don't want to endlessly be having government handouts and having no work and being put into entry-level work when we have over 20 years of experience. I came to Canada with experience. I had worked in management in England, in South Africa. I was running HR for the human resources for Johannesburg Child Welfare. I was running it. I ran HR for Basil Saros and Efrosini Papianis at Plaza. I had big responsibilities and they paid me well. They took care of me. When I left Johannesburg Child Welfare, they were very upset and they said to me, why, we can try to get your visa renewed. It might be hard because they want South Africans. And I said to them, no, I want to travel. I want to go to England. My cousins had gone to England on working holidays and they had told me how much they liked it and how nice the English people were. And they told me, like, if you want to do it, you should try it. So I told them I want to travel. I want to go see parts of Europe. And I want to be near my family in America and Canada. So I don't know if I'll come back, but I want to do these things. And Matthew Grosset, who had helped me get that job, he told him, I think it's a good idea. It will be nice for her to be with her family and to travel and to go see different parts of the world. And then after that, we can see if she wants to come back, we can bring her back. But even he told me it's not a good time, B. You can't come back now. So I came back, but what I didn't waste my time. I pushed for Cyril Ramaphosa to fix Eskom. And my other neighbor, Esme, she's also from South Africa. She's a Wits graduate. So she tells me sometimes what her friends are saying. She showed me that documentary that they released about how the ministers in South Africa were washing their hands in 25-year-old Scotch whiskey, how they tried to poison the CEO of Eskom. So I use my voice. I use my voice to push for them to fix the things there, to care about people, to care about them having electricity and being able to buy food and keep it in the fridge, because we went through it. I went through it. You couldn't even keep food in the fridge in Zimbabwe because you buy that meat, you buy that milk, the electricity, if the electricity is going off every day for most of the day and you only have it for 2 or 3 hours, that food is not going to last. So I pushed for it for South Africa because I suffered. My eyes, I used to wake up and study by candlelight. I used to walk to school. So I don't do things because they only affect me. I don't take things personally. There are people in this world who will only do things if it affects them personally. I am not like that. I do it because I know that if I don't do it, it's going to come here too. And then we'll be going through the same thing. It's already starting. Why do you think Jamil Javani and these politicians are going out talking to people, asking for solutions? Because they don't know what else to do now. The country has been decimated. The investments and things are going to Africa. They're going to Africa by these big companies, Microsoft and Google and Fanatics and all of them. They're investing in Africa. Why aren't they investing here? This is a first world country. Why aren't they looking to pay people decent wages and have us buy homes and buy properties and invest in this country? Why are they looking only to cut costs with the salaries and taking it over there? It will come here. If we don't do our share for our communities, it will come here too. That's what I'm saying. I didn't push for South Africa for nothing. I pushed because one day I want to go back. I want to have a nice villa there by the sea, in Cape Town. I want to have sports cars. I want to have all the things my dad had in Zimbabwe. I want to have a veranda with serpentine stone. I'm not just doing it for them. I'm also doing it for me. Because I also have friends there. I have family there. I have people that I know there. And I also know how good our schools are in Zimbabwe. Peterhouse, the girls' colleges, Kwekwe High School. I know the education and I know the standards. So that's why I push. And even some of the things when I graduated, I said to Father Larry, when you do your homilies, do you do it by yourself or do you work together? He said, no, of course not. We do it on our own. I said, well, I'm just asking because when we used to do our reflections and our guided prayers, sometimes we did it on our own and sometimes we did it in a group. So we'd get together, the mature students, we'd get together and we'd work on our presentations together so that we could present it for our final assessments. We'd work on our reflections together on the scriptures. So that's why I asked him, do you do it by yourself, Father Larry, or do you do it with the other priests? Because I like to know, then it also helps me. It helps me because I sometimes do small groups. I sometimes get together with others. Then it helps me to know, and I can also help them. So for the scripture, I'm just going to read the gospel for today, and then I'm going to do a small reflection for it. It's a reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. When Jesus had cast out a devil, some of the people said, "It is through Beelzebul, the prince of devils, that he casts out devils." Others asked Jesus, as a test, for a sign from heaven. But knowing what they were thinking, he said to them, "Every kingdom divided against itself is heading for ruin, and a household divided against itself collapses. So too with Satan. If he is divided against himself, how can his kingdom stand? since you assert that it is through Beelzebul that I cast out devils. Now, if it is through Beelzebul that I cast out devils, through whom do your own experts cast them out? Let them be your judges then. But if it is through the finger of God that I cast out devils, then know that the kingdom of God has overtaken you. So long as a strong man, fully armed, guards his own palace, his goods are undisturbed. But when someone stronger than he is attacks and defeats him, the stronger man takes away all the weapons he relied on and shares out his spoil. He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, it wanders through waterless country, looking for a place to rest, and not finding one, it says, I will go back to the home I came from. But on arrival, finding it swept and tidied, it then goes off and brings 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and set up house there, so that the man ends up by being worse than he was before. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. And in our church, when we do this first part, we do the sign of the cross on our forehead, on our lips, and on our heart. So my reflections for this is just again that Jesus was cautioning us, and Jesus was guiding his disciples and guiding us that we have to pray, and we have to know that, yes, people do come against us, and they can say, oh yeah, you're possessed. Oh yeah, you're not doing this by Jesus's power or by God's power. You're a Satanist, or you are doing it not to bring God glory. And that's what he was emphasizing in this gospel story today. And he was guiding them that a house divided against itself will fall. It's very similar to the John Maxwell reading that I did this morning, that if we are not turning to God and if we are not following God's way, then our house of faith will fall, our churches will fall. If all the Christians are not working, or we're earning minimum wage, or we're not getting the promotions, we're not getting the time off to go to our religious services, to go for Christmas, for Easter, for Good Friday, the most important day of the year, the church is going to collapse, because the conditions are being created where we will not be able to support our churches, repair our homes, feed our families. We will not be able to do it. And the backlash is not going to come only from us. It's going to come from the Hindus, the Muslims, the atheists. Everybody will stand up for us, because they know that we are good. We are good people. And the backlash is going to come against the government just the way it's coming now, because they know the word and they know what Jesus did. And Jesus is helping us with this message, saying that he who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. So Jesus is telling us to keep our hearts clean, to keep our lives focused on him. Because if we don't, what is evil comes and it says, oh, look, this is nice, and then destroys everything. And isn't that what's happening in our country, in Canada? Isn't that what's happening? It is. All those temporary foreign workers, paying people slave wages, not giving us time off for our religious services. You think I sat and cried when they told me, no, you can't have Good Friday off and Easter off and Christmas off? I told them it's going to come back on you. I didn't cry. Everyone else cried. All 50 people on that floor sat and cried. All my managers left there. because they didn't promote me, they didn't give me the right opportunities, they left. Every organization, when they treat me badly, whether it's Credit Suisse or whether it's HSBC or whether it's TD or Teleperformance, they see how I'm being treated and everybody sits and cries. And that is going to continue happening until they treat me properly, including the priests and including everybody else. Father Larry asks me every time I see him, when are you coming to read? I said, I'm not doing the schedule, Father. You ask the person that's doing the schedule to put me back on the reading. Even if I'm sick, it doesn't mean that I can't do things for the Lord. I can do, and I am doing. People's companies are going to fail, the same way Credit Suisse failed. I only did it because the whole system was going to collapse. That's why I pushed back so hard. When is it enough? When is it enough? When are people going to put Jesus first? That's what I say. Everybody's going to stand up for the Christians. I don't have to push so hard anymore.